for our singer and pianist, J.C. Pelstrain. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Veterans Voices Award Ceremony. We are gathered here tonight to recognize and honor 30 truly outstanding veterans. I'm Trista Mattis-Castillo, and I'm standing in for our MC, Reg Chapman, who I'm sure is rushing here in traffic from Minneapolis at WCCO. So last year, Reg was the Master of Ceremonies, and he'll be joining us as soon as he can get here, but in the meantime, you have me. So please rise for the presentation of the colors and the singing of the national anthem. Tonight's color guard are members of the Air Force ROTC Detachment 410 from the University of St. Thomas, and the national anthem is being performed by singer Joe V. By Pastor Michael Lotzer, followed by a moment of silence for those lost on 9/11.
Good evening. When I was in Iraq in 2009, I remember standing before a group of soldiers before they left for their mission. It was the first time I would pray with a group of soldiers leaving the COB, the Contingency Operating Base. I had the instinct to ask them to hold hands. David O'Fallon, the president of the Humanities Center, recently today said that we are all in it together. I think he's absolutely right. So recognizing fully that we come from a variety of worldviews, religious backgrounds, understanding of human reality, I would ask you, even if it's out of your comfort zone, to take the hand of the person next to you, to make a circle at your table, because actually he's perfectly right. We're in it together. Plus it keeps your hands warm. So would you give me the honor to pray in my tradition as a Christian chaplain? Gracious God, thank you that you are here with us, as close as the hand that we hold to our left and to our right. Thank you that you have walked with us every moment of our life. Thank you, Lord, for veterans, for their families, for the sacrifice that they have made, so that others might experience a level of freedom unknown in human history. Thank you for the Humanities Center, the staff, the vision, the leadership. I pray blessings on that organization, and I thank you for the worthy mission that they have endeavored to make veterans' voices known, to change the narrative, to bring out the nuances in the stories of human beings who have served other human beings, who have given the ultimate sacrifice in some cases. We pray for the families who have lost loved ones, husbands, sons, fathers, mothers, daughters, sisters, brothers, friends. We ask that you would be near to them as they mourn. And we pray that everything that is said in this ceremony would honor you. In Jesus' name, amen.
You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our meal this evening, I have a couple of announcements.
This year we are honoring 20 On the Rise veterans who are 40 and under. The Minnesota Humanities Center also added a new Legacy Award category this year to honor veterans age 41 and older. And I tell you, they're all 41 years old in one day. Now, we all remember where we were the morning of September the 11th, 2001, but we couldn't predict the way that the world would change and how for some, their futures would change forever. Tonight we are honoring veterans of all ages who not only responded to the call of service to this country, but who are continuing their call outside of uniform by continuing service to their communities and fellow veterans. It is a great privilege and an honor to be here tonight with this incredible group of veterans, and I applaud you all. But first, I would love to recognize the oldest veteran in the tent tonight. Would you please stand, Mr. Joseph Medina? It's an honor to have him with us again. He was our oldest veteran last year as well. So, can you wave your hand? Can we see? There we are. I think he drove here today again, so. Now, can we have the youngest veteran please stand? Alex Schuler. Alex, where you at? He's not 21, so no beer for Alex tonight. Now, will all Veteran Voices awardees in 2013 and 2014 please rise? Come on, stand up. Be recognized. And finally, will all veterans please stand? Thank you very much for your service. Now, to share her gratitude with you, I'd like to introduce to you Lisa Bilak, Chairman of the Minnesota Humanities Center Board of Directors. Lisa? Give her a round of applause as she comes up.
I'm going to move this down, Reg. There. Just a little. Good evening. As Chair of the Minnesota Humanities Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to the center and thank you for attending and supporting tonight's event to honor and acknowledge the accomplishments and ongoing work of 30 incredible men and women. I was recently reflecting, actually with other members of the board, about how much of our state and society is disconnected from the service of our veterans these days, and not like it was in previous times. And so I'm very proud of the efforts that we are making to let people of Minnesota know about the service of our veterans and also the ongoing work that they are doing back here in the state upon their return. People often wonder what the Humanities Center is or does, and the best description I can give you is that we are continually working with individuals and organizations across the state by bringing the unique resources of what the humanities are to meet the challenges and opportunities of our times. We build community and bring into public life the untold stories that deepen our connections to each other. Our board sees this Vets Voices program as an important part of that work, along with our partnerships with schools and educators, and a new project that we are doing to study and discuss in communities across the state the intent and current relevance of the Constitution. Our board also works very hard to be good stewards of the public and private funds which help make our work possible. In my opinion, there is no better partner working to leverage the funds and connections that are entrusted to us. If this is your first introduction to the Minnesota Humanities Center this evening, I hope you will seek out more information about how we can work together to make Minnesota all that it can be. Again, thank you for coming this evening, and congratulations to all of tonight's awardees. Thank you.
Move this back up. Now tonight, we welcome the second year of Veteran Voices in the Minnesota Humanities Center's partnership with veterans. This is a strong continuation of this new Veteran Voices program. You'll hear more about that later. But I'm pleased to announce to you the co-chairs of this year's ceremony, Al Horner and Shakina Mujahid. Their leadership and dedication has been phenomenal. Please give them a round of applause as they come up. You can do a little better than that. They worked really hard.
Welcome 2014 Veterans Awardees and guests. When I think about where I would be without receiving the Veteran Voices Award last year, I cannot imagine it. The impact it has made has been tremendous for me personally and professionally. Professionally, I wear two hats. One as the executive director of a nonprofit named Sisters Need a Place. The other as an associate program manager of a program under Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative called Families Moving Forward. Both positions have led me to the opportunities where I had to rely on my background to help me stand out, such as my parents teaching me to accept individuals where they are, and my military experience working with different levels of authority. The positions put me in places that I wouldn't have normally been in. I have been acknowledged nationally for being a Muslim woman veteran through CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, an organization that protects the civil liberties and empower the American Muslims to continue to have dialogue about Islam. Even more now than ever, these conversations are important to continue to have. By working with Families Moving Forward, I collaborate with over 60 mostly Christian congregations whose focus is to provide support, compassion, and hospitality to homeless families. I'm probably the first Muslim that they have met. My office is located in church. So my daily working life, I'm living the interfaith conversation. Amen. Since the award, Sisters Need a Place has been recognized as the first Muslim-focused women's shelter in the metro area. I was promoted to Associate Program Manager to the first family homeless shelter serving Scott and Carver County residents. One thing I observed while being in both positions is that women and families need that empowerment, the encouragement to know that some days will be bumpy, but with the right support, you can move the obstacles or barriers. I feel that by receiving this award, it has empowered me to move obstacles, to encourage me to do what I need to do. I am now pursuing my master's in marriage and family therapy so I can continue to empower others. On a more personal note, the impact this award has been to me. When I was asked to talk about my background, I was shy away from telling people that I served 13 years in the military. Well, I can recall clearly on numerous occasions when I would tell people, I would get looks of disbelief or comments like, "What did you do? Are you injured? I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know you. What was your rank?" I felt that I either had to be injured to be in a certain position, look a certain way, or my character was in question. The comments hurt me more than the looks. As much as I wanted to fight back or say, I served our country, I sacrificed. I was dedicated, I was loyal, and I still am. I couldn't because I too had a certain image of what a veteran was. The image wasn't me. However, by being recognized for this award, I realized that it didn't matter, that I was in a good position. And that position wasn't why I was in the military, but it was right now. I can change the face of a black veteran. I can change the image of women veterans. I can change the idea of a Muslim veteran. The impact of receiving this award has given me the confidence to make change to the face and image of a veteran. Thank you.
People who know me know that I was an officer in the Navy SEALs for 5 years. I've done some challenging things. Most guys would call me a man's man, maybe too much of a man's man. Obnoxiously man's man, maybe. But I'll tell you what, I've gotten to know this lady, and I'm proud to stand up here next to her.
Amen.
So, what on earth does the Humanities Center have to do with the Warriors? I couldn't put that together. My lovely bride looked up humanities in Wikipedia. It's the study of being human. So I said, okay, so let me try to put this together. And here's what I came up with. We just finished the longest period of continuous war our nation's ever known. Can you hear me? Is this okay? If you can't hear me, just throw something. I'll figure it out. And we've got hundreds of thousands of veterans in America. So humanities is about being human, and we've got hundreds of thousands of folks who have come out of some incredibly stressful situations. So when those folks come back, they come back and a variety of things happens. They can be kind of good to go, and they can reintegrate fairly well. So those are the majority of people. Some come back terribly dysfunctional. They self-medicate, drugs, alcohol, and they end up in law enforcement, and that's a really bad situation because there's no help there. Others come back physically broken, and the VA steps in and is doing amazing work, putting bodies back together. But then there's the vast majority who are just kind of struggling to transition from the horror and the unbelievable discontinuities with humanity that they saw in their war experience, and are just trying to frickin' figure it out and get on with a healthy, happy, successful life. That's where this comes in. Humanities Center is about being fully human, about helping people being fully human. So we've got these veterans. Here's the analogy I use. Imagine yourself, have you been in a dark room? You've been in a dark cave, you've been someplace dark, right? We've all been there. And all of a sudden you see a sliver of light, a door, a window, something. You see a sliver of light. What happens? You stabilize. You start to get your orientation, and you can identify a path. Here's what Humanities Center's Voice of Veterans, Veterans Voices program is really all about, in my judgment. All of you awardees tonight are those specks of light. A little light through a window, a little light coming through a door. You are a glimmer of light for folks who are wandering on in some stage of disorientation. They see people who have succeeded in their personal life, in their professional life, in public life some way, and they say, I guess it's possible. So here's the deal. You're pathfinders. You're showing the way. That's your mission when you get this award. You don't have to take it if you want. It's a voluntary mission. Okay? But if you choose to take the mission, here's all you have to do. Be all you can be. Have we heard that before? Be all you can be. Be as much as you can be. Be as fully human, as compassionate, as caring, as loving, as sincere, as honest, as good, and as fully developed as you can be. And here's what you become. That speck of light for people who are wandering around trying to find their way. So your mission is to become all you can be, become as fully human as you can be, because people are watching. So when you leave here tonight, understand you've got an award, you've got a title, you've been recognized. If you choose to accept the mission, all you have to be is as good as you can be. Now, if you won an award tonight, you did something significant. There was a screening process. You're not sitting here as an awardee tonight because you did nothing. You did something significant. That deserves our respect. All of us who are in the military understand a symbol of respect is a salute. So my closing act is to salute you folks who got the award and say congratulations. You've got my respect, and I think much other people. Congratulations.
We have another round of applause for Al and Sakina. They'll speak from their hearts, and we're thankful to have them on our team. And now you will hear from 3 veterans whose lives have been positively changed through the Veteran Voices program. Trista Masta Castillo, the Veterans Voices program officer here at the Humanities Center, will be first to speak. Give her a round of applause. She had to fill in for me while I was working.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, our country changed forever. In the aftermath, thousands of brave women and men, many of you who are under this tent right now, and or a loved one, selflessly volunteered to defend the liberty and freedom we Americans hold so dear. Since that day, more than 80,000 veterans have returned home to Minnesota to join the more than 300,000 of us that have already earned the title veteran. For some, the title carries shame, disappointment, and an undue burden. For others, pride, a sense of belonging, and honor. For myself, the title veteran means that I have a great privilege and responsibility to amplify the stories of these Americans. As veterans, we've been told many things about our own experiences. Veterans are often represented as either social problems or superheroes. But the narrative that we have been told or seen portrayed in the media isn't a complete picture. In fact, the best part of our stories are often missing. In our midst are veterans who are pastors, running women's centers, farmers, lawyers, those establishing the veterans courts. The list goes on and on and on. These are the stories that need to be told. Telling these stories not only offers civilians the opportunity to hear a more complete picture of who we are, but gives veterans the opportunity to look at ourselves, our experiences, and make the connections with one another. These stories are why on this day, this very day last year, we launched the Veterans Voices program here at the Minnesota Humanities Center. And since that time, I am proud to say we have a major list of accomplishments. In just 1 year, we've hosted plays, community conversations, lunch and learns. We've taken an in-depth look at what veterans culture is. We've shared our story with hundreds, literally hundreds of stories with media outlets. And perhaps the most exciting piece, which grew right out of conversations with veterans and from the support of some legislators, 2 of which happen to be veterans, Representative Bob Detmer and Representative Jerry Newton, and the son of a veteran, Senator John Hoffman. We drafted and passed unanimously legislation declaring the entire month of October Veterans Voices Month. We're the first state in the nation to dedicate an entire month to learning about what it really means to be a veteran and what service means. Through this declaration, we'll educate Minnesota. From now until November 11th, we will be educating students, community groups, and we will really know that Minnesota knows what Veterans Day is all about. And it's not just about mattress sales or used car sales. It's a day that is truly about honoring, amplifying, and recognizing the authentic narratives of those who have served. I'm so excited to be able to use my own military experience to build and strengthen relationships, recognize the power of our stories, listen to the community's voice, and work in true collaboration with veterans and civilians alike to accomplish the many great things in the future. I'm excited to introduce to you a few of my fellow veterans. One veteran in particular, my friend and colleague, Ryan Schmidt, who is the first ever Humanities Veterans Fellow. Yeah. Welcome, Ryan Schmidt. Yeah.
How's it going? I'm Schmitty. Thanks for coming. I came to the Humanities just over a year ago, joined with other veterans to connect on the issue of how do we bridge gaps and build relationships between civilians and the warriors. Through those conversations, I realized that we're not alone, that we're all in this together. See, in the military, I always had a battle buddy. On or off the battlefield, we were never alone. And if I found myself alone on the battlefield, I knew I was having a really bad day. But somehow when we leave the military, we come up with this idea that we have to start doing things alone. I've tried. But for the first time since my military service, since my post-service struggles, I found that battle buddy. That battle buddy is the Humanities Center. By looking at the Humanities Center as my battle buddy, it has given me the confidence and the support to venture out into new frontiers. Hell, I've gone from the battlefield to the theater. Seriously. Facilitating conversations after a powerful performance of Telling Minnesota, bringing the community and the veterans together to connect. I've also had the privilege to be a part of the Always Lost Meditation on War. It's a living memorial that honors the men and women who have died for this country since 9/11/2001, exactly 13 years ago today. These are just a few of the things that the Veterans Voices Project, the Humanities, and myself have been able to do. But there's a lot more to be done. We are all in this together. Together, we can change what the future looks like for veterans, their families, and the community. When the time arises, are you willing to step up and be a part of this? Are you willing to step up and be that battle buddy? Are you ready to stop building up these walls and start bridging gaps and bringing us together as a whole? The time is now. Are you ready to answer that call? Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce to you a 2013 awardee, Luke Weinhardt. Luke continues to answer the call as he works by serving the homeless veterans and at-risk veterans with the Minnesota Assistance Council. Everybody, Luke. Thank you.
Keep it rough tonight, everybody. Right. And I received my award 1 year ago today. Like most of you, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was nominated, and I just came up here. I was joined by my beautiful wife, Molly, an amazing supporter of my goals, and mother of our 2 children. Stand and be recognized, Molly. We were married just weeks before my deployment to Iraq in 2003, and this year we celebrated 11 years of marriage. I was surrounded by fellow veterans that have done amazing things to help reshape their communities, state, and nation. Incredible stories of returning veterans were shared because of the hard work of the Humanities Center. They helped highlight the accomplishments of these veterans in local papers, radio stations, press releases, and news broadcasts. Their achievements and continued pursuits to make this nation a better place were highlighted for all to see. It was an incredibly moving experience for me, and the award itself was a recognition of all my accomplishments. But I woke up the next day wondering what's next. This award that now sat on my dresser was a symbol of my past accomplishments, and I knew there was still much work to do. It encouraged me not to rest on my past accomplishments, but to work even harder, setting new goals. pursuing more education so that I could help address greater challenges. It also inspired me to re-enlist in the National Guard to continue to serve my country. I was out in the military for 9 years, and I went back. I'm a lifer. What can I say? It also inspired me to be a part of the continued efforts of the Humanities Center. Because of that, I got a chance to sit on the committee for the On the Rise category to ensure that the integrity of the award was upheld. That inspired me so greatly. So if you're sitting in the crowd tonight, it's because the merit of your achievements were so great that you could not be overlooked. So tonight, celebrate your accomplishments, enjoy your friends, family, laugh and have fun because you've earned it. But tomorrow when you wake up, I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I going to do today to make my community better tomorrow? Thank you.
Now you got to do a better job than that, or undock my tag.
Reg, thanks a lot. He does a fantastic job, doesn't he? This man, yeah. So I said to Representative Newton, I got a 45-minute speech here, and he threatened to leave. So I'm folding it up, you guys. I can only go this far. My heart to your heart. You've heard the words. You've heard the passion that people bring. You heard the fact that we started something from nothing 1 year ago. You've heard Trista list the accomplishments. You've heard Schmitty ask us to step up. You've heard Luke say we're all in. We are all in. I want to do a couple special thanks to people that we wouldn't be here without them. Corinda Horton, did you make it tonight? Does Corinda show up? Where are you? Yeah. There you are. Corinda doesn't get to give a speech, but I get to say something about her. Corinda's on the board of the Humanities Center, Desert Storm vet. This is my very first board meeting. I've been on the board I've been on the job like 10 minutes. Corinda comes in, we're standing over here in the library, and she said, David, I understand, the Humanities Center's got this big commitment to who's been left out, the voices that haven't been heard, the stories that haven't been told, the connections that haven't been made. What do you think about vets? There's only one answer. Of course, it's a story that's been left out, a story not told. Corinda, you were the spark that started this whole thing, and I want to honor you for doing that and for sticking with us. Thank you. Thank you. There's another conversation I had early on that was with Corinda. He's going to be up here in a few minutes, so Commissioner, this isn't your introduction yet, just so you can relax. But we're trying to make this up. It was sort of like Al said, humanities, veterans, what the heck, how does this fit? What are we trying to do with each other? So Corinda and I went over to talk to Commissioner, Department of Vets Affairs, Shilto. We're standing there. I didn't know this guy. I had no idea what the reaction would be at all. And Commissioner, you got it right away. And we had a conversation that I thought would maybe take 10 minutes. We were there, 45 minutes. I think you might have been late for an appointment with the governor that day. But I want you to imagine this. Commissioner will be up here in a moment, but imagine this. Here's Corinda. Here's the Commissioner of the Department of Vets Affairs, and the Commissioner says, imagine this. Veterans and the Humanities Center collaborating together. What a message that will send. We're doing it. A year later, we're doing it. Commissioner, thank you for saying yes. It's a very, very important part. We're here in many ways because of your support for that. I want to acknowledge, I don't mean to go on with thanks, but there are people who really make a difference. The world yaks on about systems and organizations. That's true, but in fact, we're people. So the mission of the Humanities Center is basically this: to build a thoughtful, literate, engaged society. To build thought and to be literate. And it comes down to just knowing each other, taking time, I'll give you one quick reason why I'm here. It goes very basically. The future isn't given. It's not written down someplace. It's not a script you have to follow. It's something we are going to make up. Every action you take, the passion of these vets, the learning that we're going to do together, the understanding that we're going to build, matters. And it's a choice. And we're all in it. I don't care what your political persuasion is. And I'm going to speak now to the people who did not serve for many reasons. We're in it. We ask men and women to do something extraordinary. I don't care if you voted, if you didn't vote, if you sat it out, if you didn't go, whatever you did. We're all in it. This is our country. This is a great democracy. It needs our work. It needs our attention. We're all in it. This Humanities Center, and myself personally, we're all in. This award recognizes people for what they've done, but as many of you just said, it's a signal about where we're going to go next. We are going to go there together. I loved what you said, Al. A ray of light, a spot of light, a beam of something, but it's pointed forward. In Zakina, nobody can tell your story except you, and that's a huge part of the Humanities Center. People get to tell their story in their own voice. So onward. My heart's in this. You can tell that. My passion is in this. We got young people back here. Some really young people. You can't have any more wine. I'm sorry, you're really too little for that. How'd you get 2 drink tickets anyhow? But every action we take is going to create the world they're going to grow up into. Enough of that. I'm really pleased to introduce a fellow co-conspirator and a colleague and a person who's been very important to veterans and to this center and to this program, Commissioner Larry Shillitoe. Please come on. Thank you.
Wow. All right. What David didn't tell you is he's going to line up everyone to say the most important things, their voices. So you haven't left me very much. So I had a bunch of prepared remarks, and I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to change it off as to where do we go from here? What needs to happen? And as I'm sitting listening to it, there's a phrase often used. It's called everything connects to everything. And as we look at this, and I look back at the last 10 years at the state level in Minnesota and their involvement in this Iraqi war, a number of us went through the cauldron of the Vietnam War. And as we came back, we knew that the nation wasn't all that friendly. We knew that our voices were kept quiet. I learned that within 2 weeks, not to talk about it. That is the worst thing this nation can do, is force people not to talk about it. Everything connects to everything. As I went through the ranks and so forth, I had the privilege once of being at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and then Chief of Staff of the Army, Shinseki, brought in all of his generals to introduce a new concept. He was going to change the phrase, be all you can be, which has been used here tonight. Be all you can be, and he was going to change it to an army of one. All of the generals said, what in the world are you talking about? What is this army of one? And I sat there, and the colonel, that poor colonel that had to explain it, was based on the research that the military did as to why young men and women join the military. And it is a principle, I think each and every one of you, whether you're in the military or in the private sector or in the public sector, it is so grounded, and it works so well for Minnesota that Minnesota, during the height of the current conflicts, had over 117% strength and waiting lists to get in. The concept is these young people want to be part of something good. They want to be part of something better than themselves. They want to be able to look back and say, I was part of that team. I was part of that. And those of you that have ever studied Maslow's pyramid of needs knows that that becomes extremely important. You cannot go to the next higher level until you've gotten through those basic primary levels to begin with. So, now, with that, honorees, guess what? This is not a freebie. You now have a new mission. Your mission is to help us and help our society answer the question, why? Why are we going through what we are going through? I will never forget the night at a conference. Some young lieutenants were asking this poor Marine major what it was like to be a veteran in Vietnam. And they were asking story after story, and all of a sudden, he started to cry. I sat with him for 4 hours, and he said only one word: why? 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 Time and time again. So when we talk about the humanities, I've learned more about the humanities in the military because it took me around the world. I grew up in a town, in a community that was 1/10 of 1% minority. Bobby L. Henderson, Elmer Bent, Ralph Ketchum, John the Baptist Mazzarelli, 4 key NCOs that taught me more about life in the jungles of Vietnam than I did in any college course, and I have 4 degrees. So I'm just saying that becomes extremely important. Also, I want to recognize the family, and David, you hit it right on. It's everybody, veteran, non-veteran. I hope you get a chance to go to the Capitol lawn because they're digging up right in front of the Veterans Service Building in order to create the Minnesota Military Family Tribute. When you deploy a soldier, you deploy the entire family, and that becomes extremely important. One of the other key things why this program becomes so important. So as I put my general's hat on, you now have a mission, honorees. Your mission is to go out and be that missionary salesman, spreading the good word, that it takes the whole community to gather together to ensure that we are a nation that's free, we are a nation that can protect itself, and that we care for those who care for us, irregardless if it's the military or something else. So to the honorees, congratulations, you were selected. But seriously, I ask you to take this badge of honor that you are given, this red badge of courage that makes you the leader, whether you want it or not, to say, I will go for it, and I will spread the good word to make sure that all veterans are honored and taken care of. And it's not just the veterans, it's all citizens of this great nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Shelto, for those inspiring words. And I hope you guys heard him. He means business. I'm the muscle behind him, so you better do it. Now the moment you've all been waiting for, the presentation of the 2014 Veteran Voices Awards for the contributions these veterans have made to their communities and society. On the rise, awardees will be recognized first, followed by the new category of awardees, the Legacy Awardees. was going to say please hold your applause, but it's hard to contain some adults here. Now I present to you the future. The 2014 On the Rise Veteran Voices awardees. Courtney Amundsen, an Air Force veteran, new freighter, who served in Operation Enduring Freedom in Uzbekistan and remains committed to the health and well-being of American veterans. Following her service, Courtney earned her master's degree and founded her own practice called Mindful Restoration. Trevor John Bird is an Army National Guard veteran of the war in Iraq, who has served in the 134th Brigade Support Battalion. Trevor, who is from Newfoundland, holds the distinction of being the youngest veteran elected to hold the position of commander of the American Legion Post 444 of Middle River, where he serves as part of the Color Guard. Martin Caraway served his country in the Marine Corps and was twice deployed to Iraq. He is from Renville, Minnesota, where he works as a veteran service officer for Redwood County. Martin ensures quality advocacy for veterans in Minnesota and across the country in his role as legislative director of the National Association of Country Veteran Service Officers. Louis Goldstein. Mr. Goldstein is a veteran of the Army Reserve from Hutchinson. He's been described as a pillar in the community for veterans returning wounded from a tour of duty. Lewis works with the Wounded Warrior Project in the Twin Cities, where he is the alumni manager and helps veterans who have suffered injuries in service since 9/11. Scott Hansen is a Brooklyn Park veteran of the Air Force National Guard and Army National Guard, and continues serving veterans in his community since his 2012 deployment to Afghanistan. Scott, the youngest ever elected post commander of the Palmer Lake VFW Post 3915, leads other young veterans, organizes fundraisers, and coordinates with the Home Depot Foundation for improvement grants. Brian Patrick Hare is an Army veteran from Woodbury who graduated from West Point and served the nation in Iraq supporting Operation Iraqi Freedom. He is currently finishing up his master's degree in education while he teaches 8th grade science at Capitol Hill Gifted and Talented Magnet School. Brian also raises funds and promotes support for a program at his children's elementary school, in addition to coaching baseball, hockey, and flag football. Busy man. Aaron Businkveld is an Army National Guard veteran who lives in St. Cloud. Returning from Operation Iraqi Freedom, Aaron serves as the Junior Vice Commander at the VFW Post 4847 in St. Cloud, and he brings his musical talent on guitar and ukulele to the St. Cloud VA Medical Program's Operation Happy Note. Christopher Hinton is a Navy veteran from Waseca who served as a sonar technician in the Persian Gulf and is now a case manager with the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. In his work with the 5th Judicial District Court, Christopher has developed a peer mentor program where he does home visits and guides veterans to available resources. Richard Leonard is a veteran of the Army National Guard from Woodbury who strives to empower other veterans to take control of their lives after military service. Richard successfully helps Minnesota veterans find employment through his own work for the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, where he is a representative of the Outreach Program for Disabled Veterans. Michael Lotzer is an Army National Guard veteran who now lives in Apple Valley. He served as a battalion chaplain in a challenging Iraq development and emerged as a leader who helps others grow in faith and find strength through they may be suffering. Michael is currently the lead teaching pastor at Faith Covenant Church in Burnsville, where he continues to grow as a communicator and developer of people. Dinah Lubin, an Army National Guard veteran from Lakefield, continues her commitment to serving others through her leadership with the Indian Lake Progressive 4-H Club. She has direct and positive impact on the lives of youth involved in this club. Dinah's enthusiasm has produced a 5K run raising funds for repairs to the Brewster City Playground and the Nobles County Livestock Ribbon Auction, and mentoring children involved with 4-H projects that will inspire future leaders. She doesn't want her picture taken. Amber Mankey, who lives in Cottage Grove, is a veteran of the Army National Guard, where she serves as company commander and as an education counselor. Amber was selected as a Tillman Scholar and is now pursuing her PhD in organizational leadership, policy, and development at the University of Minnesota. She continues to give back to her community and uses her military experience to support her numerous volunteer opportunities and speaking engagements. Jason McNamara is an Army veteran from Mankato who served in Iraq. Jason remains an active advocate for veterans of the Minnesota State Legislature, where he worked to successfully pass state legislation that created a new combat wounded motorcycle license plate. Kristen Nord is an Air National Guard veteran from Buffalo who served as a flight nurse, providing evacuation support from Afghanistan to Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, then back home to the U.S. She is a flight nurse with LifeLink 3 and provides advanced medical evacuation from Wilmer, Minnesota. In her medical career, Kristen has provided emergency care to thousands of patients in Minnesota and Afghanistan. Come on down, Brian Ophis is a dedicated Army National Guard veteran from Bemidji who demonstrates his commitment to veterans through his work and personal life. He helped launch the Wounded Warrior Guide Service in Bemidji, specifically for disabled veterans. Brian led an effort to provide hunting and fishing trips for veterans, and he guides many of these trips himself. Our youngest veteran in the house, Alex B. Schuler, is a veteran of the Marine Corps who served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and is a 2013 graduate of the University of Minnesota. Hailing from Eagan, Alex brings enthusiasm for serving veterans into his daily life as a veteran constituent service representative for Senator Al Franken. Sean Statham, who served with the Marine Corps and Army National Guard of Kosovo, is a veteran from Inver Grove Heights. Sean excels as a police officer at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport on a select SWAT team. He also helps coordinate military and police funerals at Fort Snelling as part of the police department's honor guard. John Swenson is a Navy veteran from Wyndham who served as Chief Petty Officer. In that role, one of the biggest corps.
John Swenson.
Okay. Oh, there it is. John carries those same core competencies into his post-military life, where he helps with firearm safety and education for young people, serves as an assistant scout leader, and assists the Wyndham Youth Football League. Evan Sy is a Marine Corps veteran from Minneapolis who serves as a leader in the Minnesota criminal justice system and a volunteer for veteran causes. He is not only a top attorney in the felony unit of the Ramsey County Public Defender's Office, but he has also participated in the planning for the Ramsey County Veterans Treatment Court and now serves in this court as a defense attorney. Evan is a graduate of the University of Minnesota and William Mitchell College of Law. Evan brought his fan club today. Dave Wenzel, an Army National Guard veteran from Mankato who served with the 34th Infantry Division Red Bulls. He has worked significantly to improve the lives of Minnesota veterans through his Wounded Warrior Program position with Congressman Tim Walz's office. Dave has become a strong advocate at the local, state, and federal level for veteran affairs and awareness of their mental health issues as a veteran constituent advocate. Okay, guys, let's have a round of applause for the On the Rise awardees. it is time to honor those veterans who have paved the way and remain long-standing beacons shining in their communities. I present to you the 2014 Legacy Awardees. Muriel Alexander Alvarez. A Woburn veteran who served in the Army Reserve, and Army National Guard. She has a passion for health care, which stemmed from her service as an Army medic, and she inspires others to care about their own health. Muriel supports the Wisdom Steps, an elder health care program in her White Earth community, and the White Earth Indian Council of Elders program. As a role model for other American Indian women, Muriel was the first woman to serve in her National Guard unit. Mr. Donald Allen, an Army veteran from Columbia Heights, who demonstrates his creative service and leadership ability on the campus of Hamline University in St. Paul, where he's pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in English and Masters of Arts in Teaching. As a founder of Hamline's Veteran Affairs Student Organization, the supportive group helps secure military benefits for other students, veterans, and assists with funding plans to pay off student tuition. He co-chairs a student organization that mentors elementary students of color, the Black Men's Leadership Coalition. Allen also is a senior columnist for Hamline's award-winning weekly tabloid, The Oracle, and publisher of the largest online Black-owned and operated news outlet, the Independent Business News Network. Theodore Ted Daly is an Army veteran who, after graduating from West Point and serving 20 years, completed a second tour of duty in Iraq in 2008. Ted brought back his leadership skills to his Eagan community and beyond, where he served as a commissioner for the Eagan Advisory Planning Commission, volunteer as Cub Master for the Deerwood Elementary PAC, and represented Eagan and Burnsville in the Minnesota Senate from 2010 until January 2013. Through his current role with the Chamber of Commerce, Ted assists Minnesota companies by helping establish and expand veteran hiring programs. Mr. Ron Fagan served in the Army during the Vietnam War and has made it his life's priority to honor all veterans for their sacrifices and commitment to keeping America free. Ron, who founded Fagan Inc., is a leader in the industrial construction industry that provides numerous jobs in his hometown of Granite Falls. He built the Fagan Fighters World War II Museum, which preserves World War II-era fighter planes and educates others about World War II. Ron lends out his corporate aircraft for charitable missions, such as the Dove Flight Program for Special Olympic athletes and their families, and the Veteran Airlift Command, which transports wounded veterans and their families for medical treatments. Brockton Hunter is an Army veteran from Minneapolis who served as an Army Scout and has done exceptional work as an attorney representing hundreds of Minnesota veterans. Brock's work with veterans suffering from service-related disorders such as post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury has gained him national distinction as a premier attorney for representing combat veterans in criminal court. He drafted and led passage of Minnesota's veterans sentencing legislation, which has been cited by the U.S. Supreme Court. Brock co-founded the Veterans Defense Project to ensure veterans are completely represented in court, co-authored the Attorney's Guide to Defending Veterans in Criminal Court, and travels around the U.S. giving his presentation, Echoes of War, to judges, attorneys, and legal experts to help them understand what veterans bring home with them. Jerry Kaiser, an Army veteran from Roseville who served in Vietnam with the 1st Infantry Division and 1st Aviation Brigade, devotes his life to advocacy for veterans and is a prominent voice for Minnesota veterans. He directed the Minnesota Veterans Charity Car Donation Program, which has claimed more than 46,000 vehicles for veterans since 1999. Jerry has worked with state and federal legislatures as vice chair of the United Veterans Legislative Council and has raised funds for building the Lau Children's Library Boat Project, which provides books to remote villages on the upper Mekong River. Jerry also created the Twin Cities Honor Flight, which has flown more than 1,100 World War II veterans and their guardians to Washington, D.C. to visit memorials honoring the service. Jerry embodies the Vietnam veteran motto, never again will one group of veterans abandon another. Thomas W. Lyons, a Vietnam vet from Plymouth who served in the Air Force and Air National Guard, continues to serve Minnesota veterans. He hosts todaysbusinessradio.com and is a volunteer host of an award-winning weekly syndicated radio show, Minnesota Military Radio, which shares stories of military service members. Thomas also serves on the board of the Minnesota Military Family Foundation, where he raises funds that directly support Minnesota's developed military personnel and their family. He is also the author of the acclaimed book, Exit Strategy, Maximizing the Value of Your Business, and the founder and principal partner of the merger and acquisition firm, Phelan Partners, Ltd. Gerald F. Newton is a career Army veteran, a Vietnam veteran from Coon Rapids. He was awarded the Bronze Star and Republic of Vietnam Cross of Gallantry. Jerry followed up his military career with a shift to public and community service by founding Free to Be, which provides hundreds of free cars to low-income families, and as a professor of the United States Government and International Relations at Anoka Ramsey Community College. As a long-term member of the Anoka County Affordable Housing Coalition, he worked to find housing solutions for homeless veterans and unaccompanied youth. Jared currently serves in the Minnesota House of Representatives, where he is the vice chair of the State Government and Veteran Affairs Finance Committee and chairs the Select Committee on Veteran Housing. Thomas C. Plunkett is a veteran and a former Army attack helicopter pilot and JAG officer from St. Paul, who has served in the Army, Army Reserve, and Army National Guard. He has dedicated his post-army career to serving the Minnesota legal community with a focus on the unique legal needs of veterans. Thomas serves as the president of the Ramsey County Bar Association and is an MSBA criminal law specialist. He contributed a chapter to the Attorney's Guide to Defending Veterans in Criminal Court that focuses on helping veterans receive a therapeutic instead of a punitive sentence. Through his volunteer work with the Center for Victims of Torture, Thomas also helps torture victims assimilate back into their communities. General Jenny Schustad is a veteran Army Force Brigadier General from Edina who has brought his military leadership style and service back home to Minnesota veterans. As a founder, the president of the Minnesota's Military Appreciation Fund, General Schustad has helped raise more than $17 million and presented more than 15,000 grants to Minnesotans who served in combat since 9/11. He also co-founded and continues to serve on the board of the Minnesota Military Family Foundation, which financially assists military families. He was elected and served 22 years on the Minneapolis City Council and was also Commodore of the Minneapolis Aquatennial. General Schustad was pivotal in fundraising and building a veteran tribute at the new TCF Stadium at the University of Minnesota, where he was national president of the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. Let's have a round of applause for these distinguished Legacy Veteran Voices awardees. And while you're standing and in the mood, let's have another round of applause for all of our awardees. And now for closing remarks from Mr. O'Fallon.
You've heard so many words tonight, and you've heard some very powerful statements. I want to assure you that this is going forward. I want to emphasize both the respect and the honor for the men and women who received the award last year and now. And it's about the future. And we're all in. I want to acknowledge that we invited both U.S. senators and our congressional delegation, and of course they're all very busy in Washington at the moment. Senator Franken sent a letter which we acknowledged at lunch today, and I want to acknowledge that Senator Klobuchar also sent a letter. Tim, are you there? Did you want to read it, or do you want to just acknowledge it? I want to acknowledge that Senator Klobuchar sent a letter. Thank you, Tim, very much. We appreciate their affirmation and their support. The center will continue this work. As our board chair, Lisa Blaylock, said, it's part of our mission. As our first Veterans Fellow in the Humanities, Brian Schmidt, said, are you in? Are you ready to step up? We will step up. It's hard to imagine that there's anything more important to do right now than to find our common kinship with each other. So I got a word for the people, for all of us. It's not enough to honor the veterans. We have to find the relationship and the connection. The Humanities Center will be delving deep into some great literature. We'll be working with veterans as creative and entrepreneurs, as leaders. The exhibit that Trista talked about that honors the men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice in Iraq and Afghanistan will be in the Capitol Rotunda in January as a marker of what we really mean, as the commissioner said, why do we do this, and what does it really take? And as Corinda said to me when we started this with a thought, she said, David, you know, we do this, men and women serve, with the hope that we never have to do it again. My friends, the future isn't a given, we're creating it. I'm honored that you're here tonight. Thank each and every one of you for your work, your passion, your connection. Enjoy this. We honor the men and women who've served. Thanks very much for being with us tonight.
I was just told that Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann also sent recognition today to recognize the veterans in this program. So she was another one of our elected officials who sent warm greetings. Also, before you leave, the photo booth, just right over here, right over there. If you didn't get your photo taken, please take a couple minutes before you leave. You can warm the car up and come back and take your photo. Now you know what the Veterans Voices program is doing for Minnesota, communities and veterans. If you believe in this work of the Minnesota Humanities Center and everything Veterans Voices is doing for Minnesota veterans, you can help. You can be a part of the team. You can be a part of the solution. Consider making a financial contribution to the Veterans Voices program. Make a donation. Donation slips are on your tables and at the registration table. There are many other ways in addition to a financial donation that will help support our Veterans Voices program. The literature on your table provides opportunities to support the Veterans Voices program and the Minnesota Humanities Center. For other ways to support us, please speak with one of the many fine staffers here for the Minnesota Humanities Center who are here in the tent tonight. I know things are tight. Everybody's asking for money. This is important. The work the Humanities Center is doing with veterans is so needed. I'm a Gulf War veteran. I lost my battle buddy 3 months ago. And it was through the support of the people that I met here at the Humanities Center that helped me get through that. I didn't think I was going to make it. But the work that the fine people here do here helped me get through. The relationships I made just from being an MC the last 2 years helped me find my voice again. Please, please help us. Become a part of our team. Become a true hero for these warriors who have done so much for our country. Something to think about, something to chew on now that the food is gone. But I thank you all, and please make sure you drop your name tags in some of those baskets at the exit tent so I can find you if you don't donate. I'll put you on TV and embarrass you really bad. On behalf of the Minnesota Humanities Center, thank you for attending tonight's Veterans Voices Award ceremony. Can't talk, excuse me. And congratulations to all our awardees. Thank you all, and please be safe going home. Don't forget the picture booth.